So, Supergirl has been cast. It's Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon. Some people on Twitter have been comparing her to Will Poulter in a wig. I can kind of see that somewhat here and there. She's was one of the leads in House of the Dragon. Her name's Millie Alcock. Basically, kind of rose to prominence with House of the Dragon. This is confirmed now. James Gunn has categorically confirmed that this casting is correct. He's come out and confirmed it. What do we think? Because it's very divisive. A lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. What do we think?
Oh my God, the cock. Oh my God, the cock. Oh my God,
the cock. Oh my God. What do we think, guys? Come on.
I don't hate it. I mean, she's blonde. She's white. What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
That's a start anymore.
I mean, I guess that's the divisiveness of it. It's not,
right at this point. It's like
POC.
What else can we ask for? I mean,
well, again, people are saying she's like 5 feet. There you go, Jake.
Yeah, she is. She is diminutive. She also looks incredibly young.
Yes.
Didn't they say they're going with a younger Supergirl or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's great. By the time they get this movie made, she's going to look like, she's 20, 21. And she doesn't look nearly that young anymore.
Well, this is an old. Yeah, this is old picture.
Yeah, we posted a recent picture of her at bleedingfool.com when they made the announcement. She's a lovely girl. She's a little bit impish, maybe a bit of an elven appearance. I think they had gotten it down to I can't remember the other actress's name, but I think the other actress was probably a little too much of a hottie. Really, I think it would have been distracting. This may be as good a casting as what they did over on when CBS did their Supergirl TV series, which I liked the first season of that.
I just, and again, I mean, she's the, what is it? The correct term. I want to get this right. She is ambiguously gendered. She is
really.
I don't know, man. She is. There isn't a lot of femininity there. And like I said, I used the best possible image I could. You don't have to agree with me, but I mean, she's.
I don't know.
I dropped a link in the private chat.
Yeah,
something a little more.
The best image I found of her was in a red dress. That's why I used it in the stinger we used. But I just, she is. I mean, I hate to say it. I have a family member, a young male person that looks like this. I mean, but
that's a you problem.
I mean, not like that, but he's a very masculine kid, and just the facial features here and everything else. I'm like, oh wow, all right.
Don't underestimate the ability of DC to screw this.
I don't want to denigrate her on her appearance.
No,
right.
Is anyone familiar with her acting abilities? Is anyone familiar with House of the Dragon?
She's a gifted actress. Holy cow! I mean, the performance alone in
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, House of the Dragon is. Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, let's focus on whether she's got a strong jawline or not. What do you think of her acting abilities?
I thought she was fine. I have no issue with this casting personally. I mean, I think it's fine. Could they have gotten somebody better? Maybe. I mean, that's debatable. But I mean, there's nothing with this casting. I'm like, oh my God, this is now gonna suck. I mean, the movies might still suck with the way movies are going these days. It probably will suck. But as far as the casting, I got no issue with it. I think she's fine.
I hope she grows into the role as Chris suggests.
There we go. From the same studio that brought you Blue Beetle and The Flash. From James Gunn, we know what he's made of.
I mean, well, so here's the extra divisive part is Tom King.
She was so good and she was so good in House of the Dragon. I mean,
I was gonna say my only issue with this isn't so much that she's been cast or whatever, but it's been that she's been cast. And what I mean is that shouldn't we have Superman first before we start worrying about the rest of this shit? This is part of the problem.
They've cast.
No, I know, but I mean, the movie almost filmed and done. My point is, like, this is again putting the cart before the horse, as usual.
No, I disagree because I think she'll probably turn up in Superman. So I think that's
the problem. That's exactly what I'm getting at. I want a fucking Superman movie. I don't need a Superman movie where everybody's showing up in a cameo. Because then that kind of takes away from it being a fucking Superman movie.
That's actually a great point. That's actually the problem that I have with James Gunn in the first place. I mean, he announced a slate of stuff. Point,
I don't mind the cast. I don't mind certain things that he's presenting, but that's the part that I
bring it back down to reality a little bit, because actually, those are very valid points. But the main worst point of everything is Tom King.
Oh yeah, since he's the new.
That's why I pulled up this article. Tom King reacts to Millie Alcock being cast. He obviously thinks it's great, but Tom King is the major red flag. Tom King is the guy that's advising James Gunn on the DC universe.
Yeah, I just want it to be good.
Yeah. Well, Tom King is he is one of these ex-CIA writers who deconstructs the characters and puts his own personality disorders in the characters. He made Wally West the Flash when he did a recent Heroes in Crisis crossover or special event. Wally West was a sociopath that murdered everybody and then went back in time to try to fix it. He made the Guy Gardner version of Green Lantern a stalker who was potentially abusive to his girlfriend who had moved on to another guy. Adam Strange. I mean, every time Tom King did a Batman run, probably did more to diminish the sales of Batman comics than any other event ever. And so James Gunn is saying that Tom King wrote this story, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which I think, I could be wrong, I don't know, but with DC Comics these days, it's not a bad guess to say that there was some rainbow flag action in this story. So we're going to definitely get that. And James Gunn is relying on Tom King for guiding this film and has been from the beginning. And listen, as much as I love Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn has got his own skeletons in the rhymes with Meadow closet. So, I don't necessarily have a whole lot of confidence. This is the same studio, like I said, that did The Flash and Blue Beetle. Now they've hired James Gunn after Disney fired him. Okay, whatever. The proof will be in the pudding, as they say. I will not see any of these films opening night. I'll wait and see what the people I trust say about them, and then I'll check them out. I'm no longer a guaranteed ticket buyer of this stuff, Yeah,
same.
Well, unfortunately, I am.
I want it to be good.
It's okay.
I look. Tom and I have the same objection, and it's going to be, why are we getting all this other stuff announced in a Superman movie? I want a Superman movie. I want a Superman movie. I don't want a Superman and Friends. Start a new Justice League kind of movie.
You want 3 mid-credit scenes where different characters are introduced that you have to get excited about? Okay.
No. I don't even want to set up necessarily for a sequel. You can leave threads, but I don't. That's the problem with Hollywood nowadays. And I don't even necessarily buy into the one bit about Gunn so much. And I mean, I've seen most of his movies, and I'll say, like, I trust him to make more than just comedies and goofy stuff like he has in the past. But my issue has just been his handling thus far of the entire thing. Because I was all for it's like, if you're gonna start fresh, meaning get rid of everything and start from the bottom up. He unfortunately thinks it's okay to keep at least 2 rooms of the structure which have his crap in them, and then build the rest of the house around it. All that's going to do is make those 2 rooms look extremely strange and not fit in with the rest of the world, and they're just going to remind everybody of what was there before. And then you have the other problem of, first he starts promising us a Superman movie. It looks like a great cast. He's taking inspiration from Richard Donner and other places, it seems like, that he should be, at least in that respect. But then all of a sudden he's announcing we're getting 20 other cast members in this movie. And I agree with you, Mr. H. The only reason we're hearing about this casting now is because she's probably going to be in the damn movie, which is going to piss me off even more, because I'm sick of, we don't need a big setup for the future. What we need is just a solid film to remind people why we liked superhero movies in the first place. And James Gunn's one of the last guys I think that can do that. Because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was one of the only last films in the last, 5 years of superhero films that I would say was halfway decent.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe Spider-Man No Way Home. Right? So, like, those two movies are the only two superhero movies I can think of in the last 5 years that were worth a shit. Maybe even farther than that. All the way back to probably Infinity War, to be honest with you.
Wow, yeah.
Or Guardians 2 or whatever one came first. I can't remember now, but yeah.
What I want the quirky, corny humor in Superman, but I don't want a joke fest like a Marvel film.
No, it's got to have the Richard Donner tone, and I think Gunn can nail that. I'm not worried about that part. And it doesn't even have to be that goofy, and I don't think he will be as goofy as Donner was.
I think it'll be respectful. I think Gunn knows that a lot is on the line here, and he's probably just trying to build, lay a good foundation out. I think he can be trusted to do that. But you're right. I think the suspicion that this is just because she's going to make an appearance in the movie at the end of the movie as part of the movie, something is probably spot on. He's doing a lot of promotion for actually the first DC Films project is the Creature Commandos animated series that he's been working on. And is that going to tie into this? Should we even care? I mean,
I believe it's, I don't know if it's that or so that's what I'm wondering if that's something that's left over from before or not. See, that's
this is his favorite comic when he was growing up. James Gunn.
I know, but see, he was already working on like Peacemaker and other things before he became.
Yeah, right.
And they even asked him to do Superman before he became head of DC. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, how much of this stuff is leftovers and how much of this stuff is his new quote unquote vision?
Right. Yeah. DC? Maybe he said, well, as long as I get to make my Creature Commandos cartoon, sure, I'll be a
Well, that's what I'm saying is he's got like 2 rooms in this house that are left over from the old house that he demolished around them. And it's like, he thinks that's going to fit into this, new setup somehow. And I just don't think it is.
Where does Blue Beetle come in? Will he appear in Superman 2?
I doubt it.
Right there.
As long as I don't have to see Ezra Miller again.
Yeah. As bad of a movie as Blue Beetle was, it doesn't attach itself to anything else to where it can be kind of separate from anything previous.
This film is either going to win or lose, and that will be the turning point for any future DC for a long time. I don't know if Gunn really knows that. I mean, we're getting a lot of garbage before we get this film. But when we get this film, it's either a hit or a miss, and if it's a miss, it's gonna miss forever. Nobody will trust Gunn. He will have killed DC's reboot before it even begins.
Well, the problem with that was them announcing right after Black Adam came out that he was taking over DC, knowing full well they had 3 other movies they had to release yet.
Yeah, well,
that was the big mistake. It should have been a freaking rumor until Aquaman dropped, and then they should have announced it right after Aquaman. Is what should have happened.
Yeah, true.
Which Aquaman 2 still has legs, believe it or not.
Well, it hit video on demand, so I think it's pretty much done for. But
yeah, sure.
Well, they're not very sexy legs.
Well, it outdid Shazam 2. It outdid Blue Beetle. It outdid The Flash.
Shazam 2 is a movie that never should have been made.
Agreed.
The kids grew up too much. I mean, look, anytime you work with kids, you have to shoot in succession so you don't end up with that problem. They didn't do that. There's a lot of problems there. But yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, and also, I mean, it doesn't hurt that chicks dig Momoa. I mean, let's just be fair. They don't. What they don't dig is the kid that played the Flash. They do not dig that.
Right.
Well, and I believe Aquaman. I think Aquaman did okay internationally. Was part of what helped it, if I'm not mistaken. And I think
that's true.
My notion is internationally. I think outside of the UK, Australia, and here, I don't think Amber Heard's is much of a dirty word because they don't even they mean like Amber Who more so than those 3 places more or less.
Well, let's wrap up this as a topic. What do we think? Like those that have seen her in House of the Dragon, yay or nay, just on that, and do we think yay or nay on Gunn's DC? Just a quick yay or nay or Yay, nay, nay, yay.
The nay. As far as she's concerned, yeah. As far as she's concerned, I have nothing against her personally. I don't have any problems with her. Maybe she's a little smaller, but I know, like, Gunn did say they were going to go for a bit younger Supergirl, and that's kind of part of the, depending on which continuity you're going with, as far as my memory goes. Like, she is young. She is older than Superman, than Clark, or Kal-El, whichever version you want to call him, before he is sent to Earth. But then by the time she gets there, because of the way things went, he is now older than she is because of how things worked out. So it's kind of like this. First, she was his like babysitter / protector kind of thing, and then when he gets to she gets to Earth, it's vice versa because she's younger in most versions, from my memory. So that part I don't have so much of an issue with her being younger. And he's already said she's going to be like a punk rock Supergirl. That I have more worries about. So it's like, oh, you're trying to make her the Spider-Man of your Spider-Verse kind of thing with, you know, the younger teenager character kind of thing.
Yeah. Chris, yay, nay, yay, nay, nay, yay.
I mean, I'm more excited about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Honestly, I don't care. This is gonna be fine, I guess, for people. She'll probably be a girl boss. She's the Supergirl woman of tomorrow, so I expect Clark to get a good tongue lashing by something that she deems he did mistakes. You know, but you know, whatever. We'll see. No opinions. She's a great actress. I think it's good casting. I do think that. Now just tell me an entertaining story that I don't have to worry about the kids sitting next to me. Think of it.
Culture.
Okay. Conditional. Okay. So conditional yay, conditional yay. And one of those primary conditions is the fact that she better have a good American accent, because I ain't going to take no Brit accent as Supergirl. Ain't happening.
I will say this real quick. She's only 3 inches shorter than Helen Slater.
Nick, yay, nay, yay, nay, nay, all that stuff.
So, yay, I'm fine with her as far as the casting her as an actress in this role. Nay, on James Gunn DC. I'm not on board until I see it and he proves me wrong, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, this was really good. I'm not feeling it. I'm not on board.
Okay, fair enough. Ladies and gents, there you have it. Topic.
What about you, done. Nate? Are you nay, yay, nay?
Yeah, true. I didn't really answer, did I? I've been busy. Yeah, I like her as an actor. I thought she was very good in House of the Dragon. She, as far as I'm concerned, she's actually better than the older star, the older actor playing the same character. You know, I think she's actually better. So, yay to her. I think she's good, actually. She's never given me any reason to dislike her, right? Like, as an actor, she's fine. Tom King is a massive red flag. James Gunn being a profusive liar is a massive red flag, just generally speaking. So, nay to James Gunn's DC, because I'm played out with a lot of superhero crap, to be fair. I don't really like what we're going to move on to as the next subject is what I'm really interested in. These kind of mid-tier level movies. Like, I want more of that.
Bring them back.
You know, yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, I look. I want to be excited. I'm just not.
When you get one terrible comic book movie after another, it kind of kind of takes you out of it. You know, and we've been getting nothing but one flop after another in both Marvel and DC. So,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, if James fails, I mean, this thing's going to fail one after the other out the door, because they've already got him on a conveyor belt, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also don't think it's necessarily him failing that will mean that this. I think the time is over. Like, I do actually think the time of the superhero movie is over now.
That could be, but here's the thing with that. That just means that only certain ones are going to be able to hit, right? Like Batman will gain people's interest. Superman will. Spider-Man will. The rest, kind of hit and miss. I mean, you could maybe argue like an Iron Man might now, just because of the fact that he's been put on, you know, a bit higher plane. But other than that, I'd be hard pressed to think of any superhero that's kind of like almost guaranteed a hit no matter what. But even
Deadpool 3 will.
Deadpool 3 is probably another one of the exceptions, maybe.
I actually don't think it will be. I don't think it will be. But just real quick, getting back to the Supergirl thing, because we've got some super chats. Immortal Remus for £1.99 says, now you mention it, I keep seeing Will Poulter.
I don't see it.
I do.
Just Google Will Poulter, and
I know who he is, but I guess I just don't see it.
Graham Cast for $5 says James Gunn is jumping straight into the deep end with Supergirl. To be honest, probably a good move to build a DCU without blowing his Batman load immediately. But this goes to what you were saying, Tom, isn't it? How he's not doing that anyway because he's having all these characters in the one.
He's having his cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there is a lot of characters there, isn't there, in that movie? Like,
he's already announced 5 or 6 heroes already that are supposed to have some sort of cameo in there.
It's too much.
And we're just assuming on this one, but I think it's safe to assume. Otherwise, why would you announce it now?
That's true. We've got some super chats over on Streamlabs as well. So John Apocalypse, super chat $3, says the best way for James Gunn to introduce Supergirl into this film is through Brainiac. I said that. Who those has small cities from various planets, one of which is from Krypton, and it is there that she's introduced, and also where Clark learns about Krypton. I love that idea. I think that's great. I think Brainiac is a guy that you build towards, though. Like, you know, you build towards a Brainiac character. But I'd love to see a Brainiac in live action. Wouldn't that be good? Like a proper live action Brainiac? That'd be amazing.
I was going to say yes and no. I mean, there's good ways you can tie Brainiac into Superman's lineage, and it can be a good catalyst for people like Luthor to have a problem with Superman, because then it makes him right in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, all he's got to say is, well, since this guy's here, all we're going to do is keep having 100 more Brainiacs. And what if the next guy's even stronger and more destructive and blah, 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 you know? And that gives him a reason to have, you know, a foot to stand on.
But there are some really good bad guys in Superman. I mean,
well, yeah, but Brainiac's never actually been given a film yet.
Never been
some of the other ones,
proper justice.
My argument has always been that the best rogues gallery is in DC.
Oh yeah, hands down. Batman and Superman have an amazing rogues gallery, and Flash has a couple good ones too. But
Superman's he doesn't have as deep a bench, I think, because he's so massively powerful. But I think Brainiac, I mean, that is the way to go, and I love that idea of how they could tie it in. I mean, who here is going to roll their eyes if General Zod shows up again? I know I am. I don't need another General Zod movie. And even Doomsday, you know, that was mishandled so much by Zack Snyder.
Well, and Doomsday's kind of a one-note character, right?
Absolutely.
And Zod, you're right. Like, he's been overused now. Like Brainiac, Metallo. There's some other great, even like Solomon Grundy or some of the other ones would be great.
I like Solomon Grundy.
What about Bizarro Superman?
Bizarro Superman. I mean, the closest we've gotten to Brainiac or Bizarro Superman is Superman 3, believe it or not. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of hold a soft spot for that film, is because it's like, of all those movies, that's one of the more comic booky of the movies. And people are like, but Richard Pryor and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, but they used to do that crap all the time in the comics. Like Muhammad Ali was in a comic once. Like, they'd always have like guest stars in comics all the time.
God, they've been struggling to sell stuff for ages.